Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, which I really like to talk a load of bollocks, tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a reasonably old worker placement game. We're going to be talking about Pillars of the Earth, and in this game you will be placing your workers out onto the board to take a variety of actions that will give you points that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, we don't like. We'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Pillars of the Earth is still worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you are new here, you better consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. We'll see you after this. Bollocks. So, Pillars of the Earth. How'd you play this game? So Pillars of the Earth is a worker placement game at heart. You're going to have two sets of workers. You're going to have your master builders, which will go into a black bag at the beginning of the game. And then you're going to have your bog standard proletarian workers that are going to go out either cutting down wood in the forest. They're going to go to the gravel pit to get sand, or they're going to go to the quarry to get stone, right? So when you set the game up, you will chuck out a couple of craftsmen from the deck, and then you'll supplement that with a bunch of resource cards. First thing you're going to do on your turn is you're going to select one of the resource cards or craftsmen that's out there. If you select one of the resource cards, then you'll have to put that many workers that the card asks for on the relevant space on the board. So if you choose the 8 stone card, then you'll stick 8 workers on the quarry. If you choose a craftsman, then you'll have to pay that much money and you'll put the craftsman in front of you. But you've got to remember that you can only have 5 craftsmen at one time. So if you want to buy a new craftsman, you'll have to swap out one of the old ones. If you do this and you swap out a stone cutter, you won't be able to sell stone at the market. If you swap out a wood cutter, then you won't be able to buy wood at the market. And if you swap out a mortar mixer, then you won't be able to get victory points from any masons that you've got in your tableau, right? You'll see that the card you choose will give you a certain number of resources. You'll get these in the action resolutions, right? So you keep doing this until all players have passed, and then you'll move on to the Master Builders assignment phase. In this phase, the first player will draw a Master Builder from the bag, and they will give the owner of that Master Builder an option. They can either pay the amount of gold on the relevant track, so if the black marker is on the 7th space of that track, they'll have to pay 7 gold to place their Master Builder out on the board immediately, or they can pass, in which case their Master Builder will be stuck on that space and you'll move black marker 1 space down, and this means that subsequent draws will become cheaper. You keep doing this, going round and round and round until all the Master Builders have been pulled from the bag. They'll either be on the semicircle or they'll be placed onto the board. So once you've done this, then you'll move on to the action resolution phase. You'll start at number 1 and you'll go all the way around to number 14. Action number 1 is the event resolution action. Everybody will have to partake in this. The first player will draw an event card and they'll resolve the effect. These can have a positive effect or they can have a negative effect, like everybody might suddenly find a load of gold down a crack at a sofa, or the king might decide that he's feeling a little bit grumpy and everybody might lose some gold through taxes, right? Action space number 2 is the Archbishop's office. If you got your Master Builder here, then you are immune to the negative effect of the event. If you are a sadomasochist, then you can apply the negative effect and you can just take a resource from the marketplace, right? Next space is the wall mill. This is where all the workers will be placed if you pass, and if you've got workers here, you'll get 1 gold each of them, right? So the next space is King's Bridge. If you've got a Master Builder here, then you'll take the card next to the action space. These are called privilege cards and they give you a positive effect that may be used one time, or it may have a permanent effect. You might be able to get a gold immediately, or you might be able to get Otto Blackface, in which case he will provide you with an extra worker each round. Next space is the King's Bridge Priory. You will simply get 1 or 2 victory points depending on what space you've been to. Then you've got the forest, the quarry and the gravel pit. This is where you'll get your resources. You'll look at the resource card that you drew at the beginning of the round and you'll get that many resources on that card. The next space is King's Court space. The player who is cuddled up closest to the king will get the metal cube that's on the space, and every other player will be immune from taxes. You'll find out how much tax you've got to pay by rolling the die, and every player that's not at King's Court will have to pay that many taxes. So the next place is the Shire Inn. This is where you'll be able to get extra craftsmen. You've got a Master Builder here. You will get one of the craftsmen there for free, and the same rules apply. If you've got more than 5 craftsmen, you'll have to swap 1 out. Next place is the Shire Inn Castle. You'll get 2 extra workers for the next round. These are temporary workers. Think of it as a medieval Deliveroo. Next place is a King's Bridge Market. You'll be able to buy and sell your excess shit here. You can't buy metal, and each player will get 1 action, either a buy or sell action. You move on to the next player and you'll carry on until each player has passed. So next action, we like to do simultaneously when we get our resources, we put the cubes on the actual craftsman, and you'll be able to trade in those cubes for victory points. So for instance, you might have a mason who lets you trade 1 stone cube 3 times for 1 victory point. And the final space is the start player space. If you put somebody here, then you will become the start player next round. Ain't fucking hard, is it? So after you've done all the actions, you will add a piece of cathedral to the board, and then you'll do a bit of cleanup. You'll keep doing this for 6 rounds, and then the player with the most victory points will be the winner. Pillars of the Earth. So what do we like? Pillars of the Earth. So the first thing that we really like about this game is that the turn order mechanism continues to be the standout feature of this game. After all these years, I mean, we've been playing this game for, I don't know, when did we get it? Way back when, in the early 2010s, right? And the anticipation of not seeing your bishop's finger being pulled out of the bag, meaning that you'll get a move for cheap, or the fact that you might be groaning if that happens because the space that you want to go there has already been paid for by that bastard opposite you, right? So the choice that you've got to make between money being absolutely vital in this game and grabbing the most lucrative spots first is a choice that still perplexes us to this day. So the thing you like about this game is that the addition of the privilege cards, the event cards, and extra craftsman cards means that there's loads and loads of ways to augment your engine as you are building it. When you add more powerful craftsmen to your engine, you're going to be able to get more victory points, but then you're going to be forced into a position where you're going to have to get more resources to accommodate them, right? So the delicious choice is, do you waste an action going for an expensive privilege card or one of the master builder cards, or do you try and mitigate the damaging effects of the taxes or the possibility of a negative event? So it's all these different things going on in your mind, but you can't do everything. So the final thing that we like about this game is that Michael Menzel's artwork is always a joy to behold. This is the geezer that did the artwork for Stone Age and Legends of Andor, and also that piece of crap game, The Adventures of Robin Hood. There's so much detail here. If you get up close and personal to the board, you'll see all sorts of little things going on. And this is a common theme with Michael Menzel's art here. It's got a distinctive style and it's just pleasing to the eye. And if this was just sort of like a bland offering, say like, you know, the Castles of Burgundy type thing, then I think this game would lose a chunk of its appeal. So what don't we like about Pillars of the Earth? First thing that we don't like about Pillars of the Earth is this game can feel a little bit empty towards the end game. Once a lot of the master builders have been placed, there's not really that many places to go, and you might feel that you are just placing your master builder out onto the board just for the sake of placing it out onto the board, right? This is more apparent in a 4-player game. I've never played this with 2 players. I'm sure that there's some way of like blocking spaces off or doing something like that. But in a 4-player game, competition for spaces is tight, and it just feels like there's just something missing towards the end of each round. So second thing we don't like about this game is that the wooden cathedral is nothing but a round timer. There's no mechanical purpose for it being there in the game, and truth be told, it looks like a giant humongous cock. So the final thing we don't like about Pillars of the Earth is that the rulebook, whilst it's quite easy to follow, there's lots of terminology in there that isn't immediately clear. There isn't like an FAQ available. We had to search online for the answers, and we did find that somebody had amalgamated a lot of the questions that have been answered by creating a comprehensive document, right? Even then, a lot of the questions that we had weren't answered in that FAQ, right? So like for instance, the game talks about the capacity of builders, and it's not really apparent what that is. Is it the amount of resources that they produce, or is it the amount of times that you can get victory points for trading in resources? Similarly, it talks about extra production. If you've got a certain privilege, you are going to get an extra resource produced. Do you have to actually go onto the space, produce a resource to get the extra one, or do you just get it for nothing? It's not actually answered in the rulebook, and that's a real frustration for such a simple game. So to summarise, is Pillars of the Earth still worth your time or bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes. We've been playing this regularly for many, many years. It's a soothing worker placement game that is the ideal antidote to crazy complex games from Alexander Pfister and Vital Lacerda, right? Pillars of the Earth exists on its own ethereal level due to its extremely simple rule set and its Zen-like mechanisms, yeah? Every game we played of this is a close and tense affair. You never really know who is going to come out on top until the very end. And there's a definite feeling of this game giving you more and more as the game progresses, right? It does get a little bit crowded with 4 players, which funnily enough is its best player count, and as such you may feel like some of your turns are wasted towards the end of each round. Having said that, Pillars of the Earth is a simple, timeless classic that we keep coming back to again and again and again. So there you go, that's Pillars of the Earth. Remember, if you're new here, subscribe to this channel, right? Hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.